Cedric Sharpley was the drummer best known for his talent in lending a human touch to the electronic pop of Gary Numan and later to artists such as Moby. Cedric was born in Cape Town, South Africa in 1952. He came to Britain during the 60s and settled in Hertfordshire. Later, he auditioned for Gary Numan.
It was about 1979 and I just finished my second album and we were looking to go out touring, and the drummer that I was using at the time was my uncle and he didn't want to commit to touring, so we auditioned some people. I think we only had 2 drummers turn up before Cedric, 3 in total for the day, and the first 2 were rubbish, to be honest. And then Cedric came in and he was just on it. You know, from the very first second he started to play, he was absolutely brilliant. My interest in electronic music was always to add it to a conventional lineup. You know, I was never really interested in replacing things too much. I grew up with guitar, bass, drum type bands, and I wanted to carry on doing that. I just wanted to add electronics as another layer. So, you know, to get in a good drummer, one that could play with electronic music, because it's not always the easiest thing to do, to me was a very important thing. So finding the right drummer was very, very important. And as soon as Cedric came in, there was no question. Then we didn't even bother having any more auditions because he was perfect. Cedric, as always, had absolutely no trouble locking down the song. He would go in, listen to it once, you know, twice at the most, and just get it right. He had just an instinctive feel. I don't know if that applied to every band that he played with, but certainly with me and the music that I was making, he just had an instinctive feel for it. So you didn't have to label with him. You didn't have to spend a day in the studio rehearsing all the things that you were going to do before he played them. You would just say, this is a song. You'd run him the demo once and he would have it. He played on many, many albums of mine, but the most famous song that he played on would be Cars. He's kind of not quite white, not black, very interesting and wacky hair, quite a unique looking man, extremely likeable. He was great fun to tour, great fun to be around in general. Very gentle, very, very funny with an incredibly dry sense of humour. You know, he'd sort of be guaranteed to, with the slightest comment, to everybody laughing. You know, just the right sort of person to have around, really.
Here in my car, I can listen to you. I can only receive, it keeps me stable for days in cars.
At times when the pressure was getting a bit much for the rest of us, Cedric would just drop a quick comment in, and then that would be the end of the pressure. You know, we'd all be laughing around. He liked his brandy, and to get a few of them in him, and he was away for the night, yeah. I've met many people in different bands over the years that have mentioned how they would listen to what Cedric did, and he was a great inspiration to a number of drummers, actually.
Gary Numan on the drummer Cedric Sharpley, who's died aged 59. Early